Curious about what Meaghan really does on set? Stick around for a behind-the-scenes look at her daily challenges and triumphs as a second AD.
Looking at your resume on IMDb, first of all, I need to scroll my mouse up like twice to go through your resume. Very good job, sis. You've worked on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You've worked on Coming to America. You've worked on The Lovebirds. Hilarious, by the way. Mm-hmm. You've worked on Just Mercy. So now you are on Captain America: Brave New World. You've definitely worked on some incredible projects. So coming off of that, what was your role in the AD department, and what did a typical day look like on set for that film?
I was the second AD for both principal photography and additional photography. So I did like the whole run. And it was broken up in a few months, but we had a break, but who knew there was gonna be additional photography, but there was. So I was the second AD, which is, you have your first AD who runs the set, the second AD, which is like the scheduling and coordination of all the things. They're kind of like the unsung hero. And then there's the second AD, which is me. Mm-hmm. And then we also had an additional AD at base camp. But, oh man, like my typical day, where do I even get started? I don't know. I mean, it kind of goes back to what I said earlier, which is like, you kind of just always look to see like what's on the schedule for the day. And, we had a lot of big stunt sequences, a lot of big, background sequences. So a lot of it was always just coordination, talking to different departments or like what the expectations were for the day. Making sure that the cast is where they need to be, in terms of like just making sure that my first team PA always had the cast ready to go. Background, in coordination with like my background PA. A lot of times it was just setting the background for the shot, what was needed, always working with the director and hearing his needs. Like Julius Ono was a really good director, and he would always give me critique or like what it was that he was looking for the shot, or what his visions were as well, because it's really important to work firsthand with them as well. On the day-to-day, it's like you're just kind of trying to manage background, manage crew. You're dealing with cast, just kind of keeping them informed, because you never really stop talking to cast, and you never really stop talking to background. Like just because you have the first team PA in the background, like you're still kind of like managing all the aspects of it all. Yeah. So, you're still just kind of always making sure that everybody knows what's happening, and that I realize now you become the voice of like telling your PAs like, all right, like so-and-so can go take a break now. He's not in the shot. A lot of the times that comes to my first AD, or sometimes the first AD is always so busy, 2 steps ahead. You're like kind of relaying information kind of like from like you're basically their mouth in a way, but just kind of making sure that the flow kind of stays the same and all that good stuff. I feel like a lot of times it sounds cliche, but like every day is difficult. But I don't want to say that in a negative way. What I mean is like every day has its own obstacles. Like there's never a day that doesn't I just walk away and I'm like, that went absolutely perfect. Like there's always going to be some loophole, or there's going to always be something that you have to pivot, or a script change, and now requires to get 10 other extras ready, and you got to talk to costumes to see if they can make it possible on the day, or now it requires this actor to come in that wasn't scheduled and they're like an hour away. Like there's always some kind of pivot. I would say just days in general where that happens, where it's just a pivot, where you have to kind of go with the flow of what is needed for the day. And if it's a script change that requires these necessities, like an actor, a background, or costume, or set piece, or hey, we need to go shoot here, and art's like, I don't have that set ready. Okay, well, what can we shoot? Like those are the days that are difficult to me, where it's like, I have to walk away from set and go talk to art department. Like, okay, like, hey, if we can't shoot this, do we think we could have this wall so we can get the close-up shot? Okay, if we can have the wall, then maybe we can do this shot. And tomorrow, do you think it's enough time to have the equivalent of having the full set? Or hey, instead of having to walk over there, can you bring the wall to this stage that we're on? But then it leaves time for in between this shot, we could pop over to that wall and shoot it versus having to move to a whole nother stage. Like those are things that my brain thinks about. Director and producers don't necessarily care how you get it done. They just want it done, Mm-hmm. And that's our job as assistant directors. Of like, my first AD always leading the ship, and it's like, okay, they tell me something, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to get it done. I'm gonna figure out. It's not like, oh my God, what do I do? It's like, let's start talking to people. Let's start moving the goal. Like, let's start really figuring out how we can accomplish it. And I don't want to just say like, okay, we're gonna do this and screw art department. Like that's not a way to do it either. A lot of times it's always me trying to make sure that we're all seen, because all of what we do is important. I think that anyone that understands the industry knows that, you know, as much as we have a schedule, things happen. Things change on the fly. Things don't happen as planned. Like, you know, there's always something that could come up, and you just have to be willing to pivot. And yeah, for the people that are like, no, like that's just, to me, it's crazy. I'm like, there always is a solution to every problem. That's the way I like to look at things. I don't really take no as an answer, and I don't like to tell people no, because I'm like, there's always a solution. Like, and if you can't do something, I understand that might be a no, but then there's another solution to something else.
Right.
You know, and I think that's what's important. It's just like realizing that it's not just like your say, it's like a collaborative effort to get everything done. And so, yeah, like on a big scale of something like that, and like honestly anything in general, it's just always going to be collaborative and making sure that you're working together as a puzzle, literally. You can't complete a puzzle without all the pieces, and everyone on set in every department is all the different pieces.
Want to start your career in film? Visit our website and book a session today.